is something that you've learned in your life that has had a significant impact on your life?
What sex is? No, I'm kidding. Something that I learned that made a significant impact. I learned a lot about. So, I worked with one nurse practitioner a lot, who was a psychiatric nurse practitioner, and she taught me a lot about like how to identify manipulation and stuff like that. And I know it's like a weird thing to say, but I just feel like a lot of people kind of can have like a little bit of narcissism and whatnot, and I probably do too, to be honest. But it's like, you notice people say manipulative things, and before you're normally just like, oh, that's a weird thing to say, but now you realize it's from a deep-rooted, like, this person's a certain type of way. Not to go writing people off when you're like, that's a red flag, of course. Like, I still have friends and stuff, but I learned that when you learn to identify those things better, you know how to handle if that person gets like a certain way, how to kind of cut them out of your life. Not to be like, cut everyone out of your life, that could be like a negative thing, but if you're dealing with a certain type of like person, I think I learned a lot. Wow, this is not answering your question. This just I probably something that.
No, it is because you're saying something that you learned.
I feel like I learned a lot about how to kind of get people out of your life if you feel like they're not necessarily a positive influence. That's why I stopped talking to you. No, I'm kidding. But
so you just have the podcast for clout, huh? Because I got so much of it.
Hi, Mom. No, Strad's always been great, but it's just more like I feel like the moment you learn how to, like, it's okay to get negative influences out of your life. I feel like I kind of dealt with a lot of stuff from years ago, but I instantly learned then that it's like when someone's acting a certain way or they're not good towards you, even if it might cause turmoil for a while, it's probably better to not have them around in your life than to keep them and like.
No, I actually think that's a really good point.
Because I think it's really hard for people. I'm not saying cut people off, but it's really hard for people to cut people off.
The second podcast I did with my friend Andrew, he was talking about how he had a friend group.
Yeah.
That basically he was trying to grow and like mature, but they were kind of like getting him shit for it.
Yeah,
so he
it's
decided
true.
to kind of stop hanging out with them as much.
It's really hard to do that. It's really hard to be like, because in some cases you might lose like all your friends, and you might be like, I'm not gonna have any friends if I do this or that, and it really sucks, and and you might care about those people too. I cared about all of them, but it's just like sometimes you have to just do it for like your own growth. And so I think that really teaching yourself it's okay to get people out of your life and like things will work out in the end. Or there might be some points where I didn't have any friends anymore, but then it's like you just make more. There's more people you meet. Like I'm assuming your demographic is going to be younger people. I don't think 90-year-old people are going to be watching this. So I think if you're young and you're like, I have this friend, but it's like it's scary to do that and you don't know how they're going to be and whatnot. If you feel like they're a negative influence, cut them out and then go from there because you're still young. Like there's so much more that's going to happen. It won't even matter years later.
I feel like it's important to kind of set standards for yourself on what you want out of a friend.
Yeah. Like when people are like surround yourself with people who you want to end up being, that is absolutely true. If you surround yourself with people who are, not that I never really surrounded myself with people who are like scumbag, like drug addicts, but it's like if you were to surround yourself with people who were like drug addicts and stuff, you probably are not it's going to be a lot harder for you to succeed because you'll have people kind of holding you back probably.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of like changing your environment to change your behaviors because I feel so much of what you do is like automatically based on the environment around you. Mm-hmm. So just by being around people you want to be like, you'll absorb it. And the key is really like you got to be kind of good about it too. You don't cut people off and just be like, because I see everyone's like, you just tell people off, and I'm like, don't do that. Like some people think it's cool.
Yeah, it's
like
not.
They have the ego power. To cut people
it's like
off.
that. The reason why you're cutting someone off isn't so you can have some cool moment where you're telling them off. It's so then you can grow better yourself. So I feel
in these situations where you've cut people off, have you tried beforehand to talk to them about why you're not?
Normally, certain circumstances, yes. Other circumstances, no. Some people I was a lot closer to than other people. But no, I've definitely tried having conversations with people and stuff like that. And it just didn't work out. And it's not that I don't care about these people. And I say a little bit, I'm like, if they were to reach out to me, I probably would respond and talk to them. But it's more just like, if you could see they're not willing to compromise or they don't even really want to talk about it or something like that, it's probably best to just not have them around. So, that's kind of my thing I learned is it's okay to get rid of negative influences in your life. not trying to call anyone who I don't talk to anymore negative influences, or if I even had a falling out with you, it doesn't make you a negative influence. It's just more like specific, isolated stuff.
And it could also just be like more, like not negative in general, but it could just be maybe for you, it's not helping you as much.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like sometimes there's some people where there didn't even need to be a conversation or anything. It's just like we just both kind of stopped talking to each other, and it's not because like whatever. It's just we probably just both weren't doing anything for each other as like friends, so we just kind of drifted, and we're like, there's no point in whatever. It's not like I dislike any of these people. It's like all this happened a pretty long time ago. It's like young. I feel like it's weird to be like, I don't care about it, but then I bring it up like after a year or two. But it's like it's more just like it's a learning experience that you can pull from. It's not that you are like have this weird resounding like pain or whatever.